Seahawks fans, we're going to have a hard conversation about who we need to officially think is most poised for a breakout year, because it seems like no matter what we got going on, every single headline is either about one of our already established superstars ready to take it to another notch, or who on the offense, defense, special teams, wide receiver room, defensive line, yada, 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 is poised for another breakout year. What's going on, everybody? Christian Pedersen back with another episode of Seahawks Digest, the show that is, like, I get it. I'm ready for football to be back too, but we're doing what we can to bring you guys all sorts of regular content, including reacting to headlines like this one about the Seahawks sitting on a breakout star and the league is not ready for it. I've drawn out the excitement. Oh, it's Riley Mills. Talked a little bit about Mills in this offseason. Most of what I have talked about breakout years or in the offseason has been on the offensive end, between the running back situation with Jadarian Price and George Holani, or the tight end room because of Brian Fleury coming in and being an offensive coordinator who's a tight end whisperer. And on the defensive side, it's been Nick Eamon-Worry. And so, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have so many guys poised to get after it this season. Mills is an interesting piece to the puzzle. Last season, he got in. He did not get in a ton while still recovering from his knee injury that he suffered before even getting there. And yet, he still had a pretty good season. Before we get to the rest of that, got to say a quick thank you to the sponsor for today's video, Prize Picks, America's #1 sports pick app. Best way to get in on the action right now. If you use the code DIGEST when you're signing up, Prize Picks will hook you up. Play $5, get $50 in your lineup instantly. Kind of like when they put Riley Mills in and he instantly was a contributor for them. And just like when it culminates in a big play in the Super Bowl like it did for him, like, it's hard to not know who he is and call him a breakout star, but he didn't get a whole season. And when you have a defense where there are established starting pieces like there are on the defensive front, looking at the depth chart, Mills being listed as that third piece at tackle, third piece at end, he might be somebody that you look at and you're like, okay, like, yeah, cool, man, he'll be a role player. But I ask you, in maybe potentially even playing less snaps than another guy like a Holani or a Price or a whoever you else think is going to be the explosive guy, does that not make him lethal, though? If we have seen what his ceiling is, and yet he's not able to fully crack like the every down situation just because of how good Leonard Williams and company are, or whoever it is at whatever position. If you're talking about Lawrence or Williams, it's like that's not everyone's going to start on that team just with how good I get distracted looking at all the linebackers. Like that front seven is really good. So if a offense can't necessarily game plan against him as this is the third guy that comes in. This article slates it as like he could be poised for 5 sacks, more than that, 30 total pressures, run defense. I mean, the freshened games though is the most interesting thing to me, because in defensive terms, I don't think you notice the rotations as much as you do on offense. If it's the guy who you're literally handing the ball to getting more reps than the other guy, like that's very front of mind in the conversation. But sometimes, you don't always realize on the third drive of the game when a tackle gets rotated in on the defensive end, and maybe he doesn't directly get in on a play, but he eats up the A gap for 2 snaps and leads to them, the offense not being able to produce anything there, and so then they get a punt. And something that in the stat books or in the fantasy realm, you're not going to know that guy's contribution immediately, but it is still felt because this Seahawks defense is just so deep that they've got guys coming out there for those rest and recovery periods for your starters and able to maintain at such a high level that I can be talked, at the end of every one of these videos, you've seen it. I talk myself always into believing like, oh yeah, the recency bias of the person that I'm talking about is most poised. I think that this one's going to be interesting to watch, though, also because there is a certain degree of age with all of this defensive front right now, where some of these guys are, I got to tiptoe around it because I'm definitely not trying to say these guys are cooked and old and washed, but football is a game that I think we're seeing more and more guys in their 30s who play incredibly physically demanding and overwhelmingly contact-driven positions have the presence and wherewithal to step away, a year or two earlier than maybe a generation or two before them. And so the question that is at least in the back of my mind looking at this defensive front is going to be, maintaining. I would say that partially because it's the offseason, just partially because of how good we are right now. I want to look at this holistically as both this year and like the ongoing future of the Seahawks and not just assume that there's always going to be like randomly major free agents and trades showing up to fix all the positions, but that it's going to be internally developed and picked, draft picks that are arriving at the right time to the right place to produce at the right level. And so if Riley Mills is somebody who right now is sitting behind veterans who he can be learning from, but also who he can step in and really be a go-getter in the playing time that he is given, that feels like a win-win both for this season and for developing a guy who then, when those older guys do step away, Mills is there, ready, in his mid to late 20s, boom. Bob's your uncle. That guy's the leader of that front seven or a major piece of that front seven in a continuing run of success for the Seahawks. Just my 2 cents. Curious about yours. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Before we get out of here, got to say a quick thank you again to Prize Picks, the sponsor for today's video. Right now, they're hooking up new users with the code DIGEST, DIGEST. If you were using that when you download it for the first time and sign up, they'll give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5. For returning users, they got Taco Tuesdays, all Tuesday, every Tuesday. Their board is serving up discounted projections. Then you can close your week out with Flex Fridays. Use your Flex Friday bonus to boost your payouts by up to 40%. Prize Picks. It's good for them. It's good for us. It's good for the channel. It's good for everybody involved. Plenty of World Cup action to still get in on. America's #1 sports pick app. That's what I got for you today. Let me know what you think. Thanks for counting down 8.5 more minutes between now and the start of the Seahawks season. Go Birds. Talk to you next time.